MP Chlöe Swarbrick, New Zealand's next Minister of Finance? Chris Hipkins desperately wants to become the next Prime Minister of New Zealand, even if only for another 18 months, so he can qualify for the amazing lifetime taxpayer tax-free perks for himself and his wife. That's the New Zealand Labour Party for you. Green MP Chlöe Swarbrick desperately wants to become New Zealand's next Minister of Finance, so she can take the country forward with a series of wealth taxes designed to redistribute the life savings of hard-working innocent Kiwis to others. That's New Zealand Green Party for you. Is Chlöe Swarbrick mentally ill, or does she have a good case for redistributing wealth tax at the expense of innocent victims? Let's dive deeper. My view, a wealth tax would damage New Zealand's economy, punish success and undermine the country's future big time. The Green Party's proposed wealth tax is a dangerous experiment that New Zealand cannot afford to run. It is a policy that misunderstands how wealth is created, how small economies function, and how easily capital and talent can leave a country that treats success as a liability rather than an asset. New Zealand is a small, open economy. We rely on investment, entrepreneurship, and the willingness of individuals to take risks, build businesses and create jobs. A wealth tax strikes at the heart of this dynamic by imposing an annual tax on accumulated assets, not income, not profit, but assets. The policy punishes the very people who drive economic growth. Unlike income tax, a wealth tax must be paid even when a business has a bad year, even when a farm faces drought, even when a property market downturn wipes out liquidity. It forces asset-rich but cash-poor New Zealanders, farmers, small business owners, long-time homeowners into impossible situations. Many will be forced to sell land, businesses or homes simply to pay the tax. This is not fairness, it is coercion. It actually borders on evil. The Greens claim the tax affects only the top 1%. But in a country where most wealth is tied up in property, that 1% includes thousands of ordinary New Zealanders who simply bought homes decades ago and watched prices rise. These are not oligarchs, they are retirees, farmers and small business owners who have worked hard, saved carefully and contributed to their communities. They should not be punished for owning assets in a country where the government itself allowed property prices to explode. International evidence is clear. Wealth taxes fail. France, Sweden, Denmark, Germany and the Netherlands all abandoned them after discovering they raised far less revenue than expected, cost a fortune to administer and drove high net worth individuals and their capital offshore. New Zealand is far more vulnerable to capital flight than those countries. We are smaller, more isolated and already face competition from Australia, which has no wealth tax and aggressively courts skilled migrants and investors. If even a small number of wealthy New Zealanders leave, the consequences will be severe. Lower investment, fewer startups, reduced philanthropy and a shrinking tax base. The Greens assume the wealthy will simply stay and pay. History shows otherwise. The redistribution funded by the wealth tax also creates perverse incentives. A guaranteed minimum income sounds compassionate, but it risks weakening the work ethic that underpins a functioning society. When the government promises income regardless of effort, some people will inevitably choose not to work. This is not a moral failing, it is human nature. A system that rewards non-participation while penalising success is unsustainable. Moreover, the wealth tax undermines the simplicity of New Zealand's tax system, one of our greatest economic strengths. Once we introduce asset valuation, exemptions, carve-outs and enforcement mechanisms, we open the door to complexity, loopholes and endless political battles. The tax will not remain targeted for long. Once the machinery exists, future governments will be tempted to lower thresholds and raise rates. Middle-class New Zealanders will eventually be caught in the net. The green wealth tax is not a path to fairness, it is a path to stagnation. It risks driving away the very people who create jobs, invest in innovation and support communities. It threatens the stability of our economy, the competitiveness of our businesses and the prosperity of future generations. New Zealand should focus on policies that grow the economic pie, not ones that punish those who bake it. A wealth tax is a blunt, harmful instrument that will do far more damage than good. We cannot afford to gamble our future on an ideological experiment that has already failed elsewhere. Conclusion: Chlöe Swarbrick does not have a good case for a redistributing wealth tax. But whether she is mentally ill, I'll leave that for you to decide. Thank you for listening. WhangāreiTim.